And here's the other catalyst too, why everybody's worried about the lower time frames. The dollar looks like it has topped, right? Which is hugely bullish for risk assets. Well, why? Well, because everything is a pair trade at the end of the day. Everything that you're trading is just a pair trade. The reason an asset goes up in value is because that asset denominated in dollars is going up, right? So if the US dollar, because everything is denominated in USD, if you're just looking at it from a pure dollar perspective, if the price of the US dollar, if the value of the US dollar is going up, that means that your denominator in your pair trade is getting larger. Well, in a fraction, if your denominator is larger, isn't that fraction a smaller number? Correct?
See,
Yeah. So that's how it works with the US dollar. So if the value of the US dollar is going up, then your asset is technically losing value compared to the US dollar because the denominator is larger. So as the US dollar starts to depreciate and that number in the numerator becomes smaller, your asset goes up in value. That's how it works, right? It's a pair trade. So we want the US dollar to start losing value because that means it's risk on for assets. Okay. That means people are going to start rotating their money from bonds to get those yields, start to rotate that back into risk assets and pump our bags. So we see here on the US dollar, it looks like it's topped. It had this little blow off top right here. Okay, right around a week before the inauguration. Inauguration week, Monday the 20th, we get this big nuke right here on the dollar. Okay, now we got right back into this demand zone, which is why you see it reacting right here. We might consolidate right up in here. We might get a quick little bounce right up into here, but then eventually this is going to nuke. And once we lose this demand zone, we're going to nuke back into this region right here, these lows. Okay, we're going to sweep these lows. When that happens, that's going to be huge for our assets. So that's another catalyst that you got to keep in mind. The US dollar looks topped. This thing starts bleeding down into here where we were at back in September 24, back in July 23. That's bullish. That's fucking huge. Okay, so we want the dollar to start nuking. Because if you look at it on a lower time frame, I mean, it looks super heavy, right? So it's starting to lose market structure. So we got to get back down into here. So you could even say the next like little demand zone would be down in here, right? Get it to bleed down into here. And then once we lose this demand, you're coming down here. Maybe get some price action down in here. Okay. And then the next one would be down in here. Right? So we want to lose these levels. So as this dollar comes down, all of our assets are going to appreciate. It's going to be risk on. On top of that, the reason crypto is down this morning because of that deep fake, deep fucking C, whatever the fuck they're doing, AI shit in China, Nvidia and legacy markets had also come down. So let's look up Nvidia real quick. So what happened today is not crypto related. This is legacy market related. So we have this fucking nuke off the open where Nvidia started, up here and then we gapped all the way down here, which is a huge nuke for something in legacy markets. Yeah, almost 20 fucking percent. That's a big nuke. So people are spooked out because of that as well, because Nvidia has been leading the risk assets this whole cycle. Not the whole cycle, but for the last couple of years now. So when they saw Nvidia nuke, the rest of the market started to de-risk as well. Now, is it over for Nvidia? No. I mean, it's not going to be. It might have reached the peak of its parabola and we kind of bull chop higher for the next couple of months, but it's not going to nuke. It's not done. So as long as Nvidia hasn't topped, we're fine with these markets as well. You got anything on that though?
no, I mean, I think it's just a scam,
Yeah, for sure.
and I definitely don't think it's crypto related. I mean, I think it's just a distraction. So
And here's our fantastic Bitcoin Nvidia chart that I want to remind you guys of as well. That's a great indicator for cycle tops. Anytime this BTC Nvidia chart has a blow off top, that signifies a top on Bitcoin as well, right? Well, good news. is this chart has not had a blow off top yet this cycle, which means Bitcoin is not topped, right? So I'll show you some confluence on this. So if we add BTC down below, oops, give me this on a new panel. Bombaclat. Hold on, let me undo that. Okay. Motherfucker. I gotta get this on a new pane.
Can you just hit back and then?
There we go. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Let's get BTC on here. New pane. There we go. So this chart is huge to be able to tell when there's tops on Bitcoin. So when you see, let's put this in a log, just to make it a little bit easier to see. So when you see these blow off tops on this Bitcoin Nvidia pair, this is whenever you see tops on Bitcoin. So this thing pumps right here because Bitcoin outperformed Nvidia and it gets this blow off top, meaning that risk assets, they're rotating into risk. Look at that. It called the perfect Pico top for Bitcoin back in 2017. The next blow off top was over here in 2019, excuse me. That was a local top for Bitcoin. This blow off top, boom, guess what? There's the top for Bitcoin, okay, right in March of 2021, right? So that was last cycle. Put it even like right here. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Good, right? So now, right, we called the top 3 times beautifully. Now we die for the last 4 years. Nvidia's outperforming Bitcoin. This chart bleeds. We've had no parabolic move on this chart. So if we haven't had a parabolic move on this chart yet, well, do you think we're topped yet for Bitcoin? No, we're not. So this is another nice piece of confluence that you can look at and say, oh shit, okay. Well, BTC is right here. BTC has not at all outperformed Nvidia in the last 4 years. Then we're good. We're fine. Once Nvidia tops, that's a signal that the stock market and legacy markets are topping and distributing. And what happens is all that liquidity, all that money, that profit taking is going to go ahead and rotate down the risk curve, which means what? They're going to go into IWM, which are low cap stocks, and they're going to rotate into crypto. So when all that money, that profit taking happens because the stock market is topped and they rotate down into crypto, that's whenever you see this Bitcoin Nvidia chart start to pump hard because Nvidia is no longer moving higher. Bitcoin is pumping hard as shit. And once you get this blow off top up in here, just like you had 1, 2, 3 other blow off tops, then you can say, all right, Bitcoin's probably topped here. We just had that blow off. Let me de-risk. Let me get the fuck out of the market. That has not happened at all yet. At all. Zero. It's not even, it hasn't made any kind of move up higher. It's been in a downtrend for the past 4 years. So again, you look at this and I say, well, we're not topped then. The stock market's still moving higher until Bitcoin and crypto starts to outperform the alpha. If the alpha is still outperforming the beta, market is not topped. Once the beta starts to outperform the alpha, that's when you look for the door. That's when you look for the exit. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know you've been keeping an eye on this indicator the entire cycle. So, yeah, I mean, it does look like it's pretty much bottomed on the Bitcoin Nvidia chart to me. So, I mean, I think, yeah, the time is now. I think first week of February, like you said, once these positions get closed out, you know, at the end of January, I think first to second week of February, we're going to see some moves very similar to what we saw beginning of February 2024. And yeah, I think Bitcoin, like I think that log fib that you put on Bitcoin for next target around 170,000.
Right.
I think that's a super good level to look for. And I think it's good too to have actual fib confluence that you're looking for, not just some imaginary price target that sounds good. You know, a lot of people get caught up in, oh, Bitcoin to 100K, Bitcoin to 200K, but they have no justification for that price target. It just sounds good.
Right.
So I think the fact that the fibs actually point to 170 And based off this chart looking pretty much bottomed and how good of an indicator it's been, not just one time, not just twice, but three times at least in the past. Um, yeah, I mean, I think too, like Nvidia is kind of been the legacy market's exposure to AI, and AI and crypto have kind of gone hand in hand with just like the same types of people that invest in AI are also very interested in investing in crypto. Trump has placed a big priority, not just on crypto, but also on AI development as well. So I think that if NVIDIA and Bitcoin were showing confluence and were interacting in the past, this cycle more than ever, they should be interacting with each other. And this pair trade should be playing out even more accurately than it did in the past. So I think, yeah, seeing over the next few months, like into March and April, Bitcoin pushing for 170K, completely outperforming NVIDIA, um, and this chart being able to call a cycle top again is very likely.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly. We're just looking for this parabola right here.